The three-day ongoing Afreximbank Compliance Forum, experts have been examining practical steps countries can take to exit the FATF grey list. Panelists noted that nations such as South Africa, Nigeria, Mozambique and Burkina Faso, all recently removed from the increased monitoring, must now focus on sustaining the reforms that end them the delisting. They stress that these countries must continue strengthening their anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financial systems and maintain close engagement with the FATF and their regional bodies to avoid slipping back into non-compliance. Arise news correspondent Nisi Grespo to one of the panelists.
All right, this is day 2 of the Afreximbank Compliance Forum 2025 here in Kigali. And I have here with me Mr. Edwin Harris Jr., who's the Director General of the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in Africa. Thank you very much for joining Arise News.
You're welcome.
We just got off a panel session that talked about how countries can exit the FATF grey list. Yes, and it was such an interesting panel session. So walk us through, what are some of the recurring obstacles countries face that make them slip into the Financial Action Task Force grey list?
So the first thing is like FSRB, to include the IMF, the World Bank, and the FATF themselves, we conduct peer-to-peer review that is referred to as mutual evaluation.
Okay.
At the end of the mutual evaluation, it assesses the country compliance with the FATF 40 recommendations. And then after the assessment, countries that have strategic deficiency in their anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism regime are placed in what we could refer to as the pool, okay, for observation and things. That period goes to 1 year. After the 1 year period, if the country had not satisfactorily completed those deficiencies, then they sit with the FATF and come up with an action plan in working out ways to implement the action plan to curb the deficiency in the system. So that's how countries go on a grey list. It's not arbitrary. So once it is noticed that you have strategic deficiency, you are automatically placed on a grey list. Once you are on a grey list and you implement your action plan, it is verified that it is implemented, then you are removed from the grey list. I give it 2 examples. The first example, we have South Africa, Mozambique, Guinea, and Mozambique, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria. Last month in Paris, they were removed from the grey list.
Yes.
They implemented the action plan. The team from FATF came on the ground, whether in Mozambique or South Africa or Burkina Faso or Nigeria, and they assessed, okay, and they saw that this action had been implemented. Yeah.
So several African countries struggle with framework that has to do with money laundering and terrorism financing, especially when it has to do with investigative framework and prosecutorial framework too. So what would be your advice to such African countries?
So for this mutual evaluation that we have started, like for Java is our third round, Esmelak the third round, emphasis will be placed on effectiveness. So for example, if you have the law on assets recovery, how many assets have you recovered? Are you making effort to recover assets? So it will be like putting emphasis on implementing the law. So to answer your question, it's like countries should make effort to strengthen prosecutorial investigative bodies with human resources and even financial resources and peer-to-peer learning, so that because if these institutions are strengthened, okay, they are well positioned in place to work on the issue of prosecution, conviction, and so. But if they are not, they won't understand the thematic and conceptual area of money laundering, assets recovery, or any other or transnational crimes that so impact the governance system in the various nations.
Yeah, that's a very good point. But you agree with me that before institutions can be strengthened, political will goes a long way.
Yes, in fact,
and that's lacking in Africa.
That's so. That is a challenge. I don't want to say it's lacking, but it's a challenge. Okay, and this is why at Jaba we do what we call advocacy visit. When we meet political leaders, the president, the line ministers, Minister of Finance, Justice, and Security. Okay, to say, look, you have to support, the political will have to come. And you're right, governance is at the top.
Yes.
Okay, if the tone is not set at the top, at the operational level, there is nothing.
Yeah.
So I agree with you 100%. That political will is a key driver in the fight against money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing in other forms of transnational crime.
Finally, before I let you go, what would be your advice to countries that just exited the grey list, countries like Nigeria, South Africa, for them to sustain the momentum?
Yes. So like I said during the panel, getting out of the grey list does not automatically mean or suggest that you will never get back on the grey list. Okay?
I like that.
That's right. So sustaining the gains made under the grey list and then putting in place measures and using the law, okay, on effectiveness, it will assist and strengthen the country such that they won't be able to go on the grey list. So my advice to all of our countries in Africa who are got off the grey list, continue to do what you did when you were on the grey list.
Great.
Okay, to strengthen your system so that in it all, you won't be able to go back on the grey list. Because on the grey list is expensive. It comes with cost. Okay, it even comes with risks of doing business in the country.
That's true.
Because
that's true.
If a genuine investor say, okay, Nigeria is on a grey list, he think the country is risky. He may not want to put in his money.
Yeah.
Okay, so it also impact on trade, it impact on governance, and then the biggest elephant in the room, youth unemployment. Okay, it also impact because investment will attract employment for young people.
That's
my advice is like our countries need to work, sustain again, and take financial crime seriously because it has a negative impact on governance, peace, security, and stability.
Great point, Mr. Harris Jr. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harris.